It's official, the 2020 Shelby GT500 is a mid 10-second car, and I couldn't be more excited. For all of those who thought it wouldn't even get out of the 11s, guess what? Haha! 10-second car. Let's get started on this. It is very exciting. I'm very stoked about this. The car ran amazingly in very poor conditions. I'm going to add that in there because there is so much left in this car that, well, let's just start the video and we'll get on with that. Anyway, let's get going. So Ford has recently just launched an event for track testing the GT500. They've allowed journalists, YouTubers, some other random media to test drive the car both on the track and the strip. Now, Ford's given official numbers of a 3.3 0 to 60 and a 10.7 quarter mile at 133 miles an hour. The track testing for the car is less than adequate. The DA at the track was absolutely horrible, and the conditions in which they had people testing the cars were even worse. They had the cars running at idle all day long because they said they didn't want the cars turned off so that it didn't reset the track settings in the car. So somebody would run the car down the track, pull it around, let the car sit at idle until the next person got in to make their run down the track. Now, needless to say, the car is going to get really, really hot doing this, and it's not going to run at its best. That being said, there is a YouTuber by the name of Stang Mode. I'm sure you've heard of him if you're keeping up with Mustang content. He ran back-to-back 1090s at 132 miles an hour. That is really impressive for a car that's running hot, in poor track DA, in less than optimal conditions. So to say it would run that back-to-back is very impressive. Now, if you look at the mile per hour, 132 miles per hour on his time slip, that leaves a lot of leeway. Now, compare that to the 11.2 of the C8 Corvette at 122 miles an hour. Obviously, 10 mile an hour faster in a quarter is a significant amount of time. I believe this car is going to be a mid 10-second car all day long in optimal conditions. Now, let's take this one step farther. There is another YouTuber by the name of Revin Evan. He was able to test this car in Las Vegas as well. He ran back-to-back 1089s at 130. That's just a little bit better than Stang Mode's times, but here's the kicker. He was able to get another private session at Brennington Motorsports Park in Florida, where he ran a 1061 at 133 miles an hour. Completely stock, on stock tires. That is amazing. 1061 at 133, and I think if you put a sticky radial on this thing, it would run 1030s, 1020s all day long. Maybe even a 10-1. Let's push the envelope and say a 10-1 on drag radials. I don't think that's far-fetched. 133 miles an hour, that's really, really impressive. This car has got power. Now, the one downside to the car, of course, there's always pros and cons, so let's talk the downside real quick. Everyone who's driven the car has said the same thing. It feels very disconnected. They've all mentioned it feels like it's playing a video game. You don't really get any feedback from the steering, and the car feels so electronically controlled and so advanced that it's almost like the car's driving you and you're just along for the ride. Another YouTuber by the name of Speed Phenom, you may also watch him. He does a lot of GT500 content. He mentioned when he launched the car, he let his foot off the brake to go, and there was a huge delay, probably 1 to 1.5 second delay before the car would even move. And then when it did, it felt very slow until it started ramping up. Even so, he said that it felt like the traction control and the stability control on the car were kind of like still working the whole way down the pass. Like there were times halfway down the track, the tire would still spin. Now, granted, there's companies that are going to do anything and everything they can to get the car to drive faster. That is the goal. Everyone wants faster, more horsepower, but in order to get that and be able to control it, the computer is going to have to be involved more to keep you in a straight line, to keep you stable. And it seems that is very much the case with the new GT500. So it's very video game-ish, we'll say. And that has been a consistent comment amongst everyone who's driven the car. But with all that being said, it's still a 10.6 car on stock tires. C8 guys, look out, you are officially on notice. Now, they were also able to run it around a road course. Now, we don't have lap times per se, but it's kind of more for feel. And the one thing that most of them said were that the GT500 feels better, faster, and more buttoned down than the previous generation GT350. So not only can it go in a straight line, but it can run a road course as well. Now, they did say that it turned in very, very tight. The steering was great when set in track mode. It didn't feel as video game-ish as it did in the drag setting. They said the feedback was much better. It turned on a dime. The braking was incredible. There was nothing they could find negative to say about the GT500 going around the road course. That being said, I can't wait till we do get some official lap numbers. I want to see what it does around a Nürburgring. I want to see what it does around a track compared to, say, maybe the C8 Corvette. If it is better than the GT350, I would love to see those two compared. I want to see how much better or how much faster it is around a track than the GT350. We all know that the new GT350R is going to be getting handling and steering components from the new GT500, which just emphasizes how good the GT500 is. But as it sits now, I want to see lap times. I want to see what this thing is going to do around the road course. We need to compare it. We need to find some official numbers, and I don't think it's going to be long before we do. So if you want to see those numbers, make sure you hit that subscribe button now, because there is going to be a follow-up video on this GT500. You don't want to miss that. So hit the subscribe button and the bell notification now before we go any farther. Now, I want to backtrack to the drag racing aspect of the car back in Las Vegas when Ford launched all the testing. Now, there's many other YouTubers and journalists who are running low 11s, we're saying 11.1, 11.2 in the GT500, who have never drag raced before. There are some that admit it was their first time. There were some that have done it on occasion, but they're not professionals by any stretch of the imagination. And they're consistently pulling low 11s. So that just tells you how easy the car is to drive. It could even take a novice driver and make him look professional. So on a hot, overworked day, in horrible conditions, we know it will run consistent low 11s. Even a back-to-back 1090 was pulled by Stang Mode. Again, that's awesome numbers. But in even better conditions, on a private testing, we've got a 1061 at 133. Absolutely amazing. Again, if we put a sticky radio on it, I think we'll hit low 10s, no problem. So if you're a GT500 fan and you're excited about these numbers, drop a like on the video. Let's see how many out there are supporting the new GT500. I'm stoked about it. I can't wait. I want to see lap times now. The Nürburgring is going to be a big one, as is pretty much any comparison to the GT350. And of course, we're going to compare it to the C8. You know that's coming. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notification so when it happens, you're going to find out. Till then, catch you next time.